So we're going to talk about the Facebook IPO drama, depending on where you are in the country. Drammer. That's how on the East Coast they would say it. They always pronounced A's as ERs in the East Coast, the end of words.
Yeah, and
Drammer.
England.
Yeah, and
the British.
Drama.
I mean, they call it. They literally call China.
China.
They do.
I want to call China.
Like on the news, they'll be like, and China today.
You watching a lot of British television, Jared?
I like watching BBC News. They have live streams online.
Oh, you don't get BBC America.
I do get BBC. Well, no, not at home anymore because we don't have cable anymore at home.
No. Well, I get BBC America. The only thing I watch on is Top Gear.
I like BBC America.
So it's not bad. So we're going to talk about Facebook IPO because last week we made our predictions, which was how low is it going to go before the next show. Mm-hmm. And so it's been a full week of trading now for Facebook because they started 2 Fridays ago now. Mm-hmm. And it started at 38 and it ended the full week here at 31.91. So down about 7. And on the day, so I don't know what percent that would be because I don't want to do math in my head, but it went down 7. So whatever 7 divided by 38 is,
right? I
guess that would be pretty easy to do, right? So it's down 18%, a little under 18% for the week, which is a pretty, in percentage-wise, a pretty steep drop.
Definitely,
yeah.
It's a big drop.
But it wasn't. It's weird. It wasn't like if you look at the graph here, it wasn't like. Just all that drop didn't happen in like one day. Well, it kind of did though because Tuesday was like I wonder if I can find on this.
Monday and Tuesday.
Tuesday was tough.
Monday and Tuesday. Well, on Monday it opened and dropped 11%, I believe.
Yeah.
And then it dropped 8 or 9% on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And
there's Tuesday. Yeah, it opened on Tuesday and literally just dropped immediately and went up a little bit. And then dropped again, and it pretty much settled around 32 the rest of the week.
Yep.
So, and that's what you.
Which guessed. Honestly is, I am very proud of that call.
That's a good call.
Holy crap!
That was a good call. Why? Because on Tuesday it immediately fell to I think actually under 32. Like it went down to.
It went down to 30 something.
Yeah, I mean it went down into the 31s and whatnot. And I was like, you want to revise that guess? I mean, I was kind of like it might keep going down, but it seemed like it stabilized at around 32. So do we think this might be kind of where it settles in at a little bit, or is it got more dropping to go?
I think it'll settle in here for a little bit, but there's so much stuff going on around this stock right now. Everyone's pissed off about it, and everyone is. I mean, Facebook is talking about, or apparently Facebook is talking to the NYSE about switching because NASDAQ screwed up their IPO day.
Does that happen a lot, by the way?
No, it doesn't.
And how is it easy to switch markets like that?
I don't think it's very. I mean, it's a pretty complex thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, they have to relist the stock, and I don't know exactly how it works, but that's not going to happen.
No, there's no way.
It's not happening.
That would be too big of a pain in the butt. And it would just add more drama and more,
Yeah, because the NASDAQ's embarrassed about...
Yeah, the best thing Facebook can do right now is just let that story die. Let the IPO was a mess just die. People will forget about it as we get further away from it. Yeah. And just, live your life and keep doing things.
There was so much built up, press about it and everything that now we're a week...
Yeah,
post IPO, and everyone's talking about now how, oh my gosh, it was such a botched IPO, it was so bad and everything like that. So it's a very interesting situation that they're in, and now we have a lawsuit. And that's not cool.
Do you think? I'm curious with the way this is moving. When Facebook first started their IPO, their market cap was 108 billion, I think, or something like that. Now it's at 68 billion. Do you think that people? I just feel like people don't know how to value Facebook.
Nope.
And I was thinking about this on Friday at work because I was bored.
Well, I mean, how does a market value things?
Yeah.
Generally, it values them by how much money they make.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, that crazy. Yeah, their PE. That's true.
That's real.
I checked it out.
599. That's what it was.
600 price to earnings.
That's incredible.
They make like 12 cents a share.
Holy gosh.
Okay, so that is a real number.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, which is totally weird because that one is the thing. The difference there is it's not such a big market cap.
Yeah.
Facebook's market cap was 100 billion. LinkedIn's at a 599 PE ratio is 10 billion.
Yeah.
So, I think Facebook, I could see it leveling out around 40 to 50 billion dollar market cap in the short term. But the problem is we don't know, we go back to the same argument over and over again. How do you value this data that they're not using yet?
Yeah.
They're not taking advantage of it.
I almost think that the way, I was thinking about this week was, how do I personally value a company or as a whole, maybe as a society, how do we value something? And just think about it like this. If you took that company away, if you took, all of their products, everything they offer was just gone, how much would it disrupt your life? Would it make it worse? Would it make it better? So think about if you take Google away, how much that would really disrupt things. Because people go to Google to search for all sorts of things. They have their email on Google. They have their calendar on Google. You got YouTube. If you take Google away, you're really disrupting things.
Definitely.
Take Apple away. Incredibly disrupting things because everybody has an iPhone, an iPad, all these different things. If you take Facebook away, I don't know that it would disrupt things so much as it would just make people feel like, okay, well, what am I going to do now with my time? I think there's a lot of people who would say life would be better if we took Facebook away, but I don't think people would make the same argument about Google or about Apple.
No.
So I think it's interesting because Facebook is in some ways a polarizing company because there are people, we just talked about it last week, there's a lot of people who don't trust them. There's a lot of people, certainly in an older generation, but even in the younger generation, I hear a lot of people that just kind of despise it and just don't even want to be on it. It's a weird case study because there's people who think it's incredibly valuable, and there's people who think it's not very valuable, and there's a lot on either side.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I'm somewhere in between. Like I use it, but if it was gone, I wouldn't really care.
That's kind of how I am too.
What would I lose? I would lose the ability to stalk on people I don't talk to anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. You talked about the lawsuit. Well, for starters, Business Insider ran a story about what exactly happened on the Facebook IPO. And essentially what they reported was that analysts at Facebook's IPO underwriters had cut their estimate for the company in the middle of the IPO roadshow, which is highly unusual, apparently, and negative.
Not cool.
So basically...
Especially because they didn't say that.
Yeah, that's what it was. It says the information about the estimate cut was then verbally conveyed to sophisticated institutional investors who were considering buying Facebook stock, but not to smaller investors. So you kind of had this whole thing going on where the estimate was cut, but not everybody knew about it, and it just kind of created this mess, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts. And then what happened was, and you were kind of mentioning this when you tried to buy some Facebook stock the first day, it just took forever to go through.
It took like 6 hours to close my trade.
That's insane.
There was tons of demand, I guess. It didn't seem like there was tons of demand.
Yeah.
The underwriters were the ones buying up all the stock.
A Maryland investor sued the NASDAQ stock exchange over its mishandling of the Facebook IPO, claiming that investors lost money because the exchange failed to process, buy, sell, and cancellation orders in a timely fashion. The investor, Philip Goldberg, filed his complaint in Manhattan federal court and is seeking class action lawsuit status. Goldberg's complaint alleges that NASDAQ was negligent because it delayed trades and failed to cancel customer orders as requested. The exchange has apparently blamed faulty software. NASDAQ also faces an SEC review over trading in Facebook shares. So his claim is basically, we could have, without this kind of fluidity in trading and whatnot, it made it very difficult to make money. Or
that could be why Facebook and their underwriters were, mad at NASDAQ, because if there was, if there was the ability for people to buy more shares, maybe it wouldn't have collapsed so bad the first day, or almost collapsed so bad the first day.
Yeah.
The thing about Facebook is we don't know how to value it, and stocks, while they do follow, they do try to stick to valuations and fundamentals and all that good stuff. They don't always.
Yeah.
There's bubbles. And I can see Facebook. I can see within the next year there being a pop in Facebook. Popping up. But it's not a sustained pop. I don't see Facebook as a 100-year company.
No. We've talked about this before. I don't think either of us do.
Right.
I would even make the argument that in 50 years.
Yeah.
They might not
I don't
be
think
around,
so. No.
It's still. I feel like we're almost. I mean, it is if you think.
I mean,
about
just
it.
think about Yahoo. Okay,
Yeah.
Yahoo is 20 years old. Mm-hmm. And look at where they are now. Okay?
Yeah.
Like
They're struggling. Now
they were huge.
The thing about Facebook, I think a lot of people are still trying to figure out. I mean, it's been around for 8 years, and so I feel like a lot of people say, okay, well, 8 years, it's past that fad status. You know, so if it was just going to be this fad that people would grow out of and move on to something else, or just eliminate it from their lives entirely, that would have already happened. And because it's been 8 years, and they don't show any signs of slowing down right now, although they seem to be plateauing in users, it's not a fad. But I still argue it could still be a fad. I mean, I would not be surprised if in 6 years they see a mass exodus of people, not all at once, but across a 6-year period. To either another service or nothing. And even if the interesting thing is they're going to have to be a lot more transparent with their numbers right now in terms of users, not only because they're public, but because of the fact that they can say they have 900 million users, but the way they qualify and they tell you how they determine what an active user is, which is essentially someone who logs in and makes some interaction in a 30-day window, whether that be liking one thing. You can like one thing, and as long as you do that once every month, you are considered an active user.
If you share one thing, if you click a button,
if you click a button on the website, yeah, absolutely, you are an active user. Now that doesn't really mean engagement, so they can only, I think, ride that number for so long.
And they count every account you have.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Facebook accounts do you have?
Well, what do you mean? Like, I only have one set.
Yeah, but you have brand pages.
But I have brand pages. Do they count?
Yeah, those count as
each
active
separate
users.
brand page counts as an active user. Oh well, then that's like 6 for me.
Right. Okay.
So that's crazy. So yeah, they're gonna have to maybe adjust that number a little bit because they can claim 900 million users.
How many people is it?
Yeah, how many people is it, and how much? And I want to know, like, I want to set like a minimum benchmark. Like, tell me how many people are using the service for at least an hour. For a month. That is really what I think would be something worthwhile. But this whole kind of smoke screen of, oh, well, they had an interaction for, one time and they're an active user.
Right.
Like, come on. You're pulling a Google on us now. We can figure this out. Google's like, as long as you, log into your Gmail account, you are an active Google Plus user.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not Google.
That's not how that works at all.
I clicked that little that little notification light up at the top. I'm an active user.
Yep, exactly. So hopefully next week we don't talk about Facebook IPO again because I just think that
Right.
Yeah, and my phone is on. My phone is making noises over here, and people are.
Do you just like the Droid ringtone?
I do like the Droid ringtone a little bit, but I'll turn it off because apparently I'm getting blown up with text messages right now.
Yeah. Well, we got Mr. Popular over here.
Yeah, it's the morning. No one's expecting me to be doing a show right now, so But hopefully next week we're not talking about this anymore. I hope for Facebook's sake that they can just quietly, be a public company now and just move on with other things they're doing, which we'll discuss in the social media segment because there are a few things that they were doing this week.